Hello, hello, hello.
How's everybody?
Come on in, come on in. We have
Yep.
Sunday Night Live with Jane
Sunday
and
Night Live.
Devon.
Sunday Night Live. Yeah, I like that.
You said it last week, so
Yeah.
or the week before, so
That
I'm
may
making it
already
for
be
you.
taken, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Tell us where you're joining from. We're talking about how we're going to add positivity in our relationships as we come to a close with 2023.
Yeah.
Life has been lifing for a lot of us.
Yep.
2023 has had some challenges on life, relationships, children, families. So we want to talk about how we can bring some positivity into the relationship. Hey, from New York.
What's happening, Maryland?
Surviving Jay. Okay. Hey,
All right,
Maryland. I'm originally from Maryland, so I like to see that.
See what else we have here. Let us know where you're from as you're joining. Welcome. Come on in. So again, starting the week off, the work week off, Sunday evening. Let's level set the expectations. Let's try to have a positive week. That's kind of what we're about this week. Let's talk about positivity in your marriage and in your relationship. How can we do that? How can we get more of that going? Because if you're like us, the world that we live in, the world that we operate in, we try our best to be positive, but oftentimes that gets beat out of you on a given day. And sometimes it can creep into your relationship. And so we want to give you some pointers tonight on how you can improve your relationship, how you can keep the positivity going and keep that negativity out of your relationship because it's toxic. It's terrible, right?
Welcome,
Folks.
Minnesota,
Minnesota's in the
Brooklyn.
house.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you're at. Welcome. Glad to see you here. So put a 1 in the comments if 2023 has been challenging and trying for you in your relationships and things that you're going through in your life.
Somebody says, I'm just here for wisdom. I'm not in a relationship. You're in the right place too.
Yes.
Because if you can get this now, if you any relationship, it's not just your romantic relationship, it's business relationship. All this stuff is applicable to any relationship that you have. Relationship with your family, your parents, your siblings, you name it. We're going to help you with that. All right. Because we all need a little positivity in this world. If you turn on the news, man, it's enough negativity out there. And so we want to help you. So tonight, we're going to get through some things. And I want to we'll talk about romantic relationships real quick, because when you're dating and you're newlywed, or some of you are out there, let us know which one you are, right? If you're a single person, type 1 in the comments there. If you are a married person or engaged person, type 2 in there. Engaged or married, type 2. If you're single, just type 1 in the comments there so we know who we're talking to tonight. So we want to talk about those early newlywed years, the dating years. It's generally speaking, it's positive.
Yes.
It's upbeat. You got all this hope, all this anticipation about the future of the relationship. You met this great person. You're talking about doing life together. It's easy to be optimistic and positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go back to 19 years ago when we first started talking. I first let her know how I felt about her. Of course, she shot me down. Some of you know the story. She shot me down. She said, we're friends. We can't mess that up. And so that happened, right? But eventually we got together. She changed her mind, had a change of heart, and said, okay, let's give this thing a shot. Let's see what we got. And so here we are, 2 kids later, 19 years later, we're here. But at the very beginning, it was somewhat easy, right? Because we were trying to impress each other, putting on my Sunday best.
Dreaming big. This is when you were just dreaming big. You were thinking about anything, thinking about children, thinking about your career. And it was forward thinking or future thinking, what you wanted and what you saw your future being. So it definitely was a lot easier in that honeymoon phase.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone left a comment in there. They said that they had an unfortunate situation. I guess the partner's been gone for a few months now, and to get the kids 50-50. And so it's kind of tough, right?
Yeah. We're sorry to hear about that you're going through that. And yes, you're also going to need some positivity in this situation of just the whole co-parenting and just trying to maintain your life.
Yeah.
This is going to be different for not just you, but also for your children, and being that support system for them in this time. So we definitely will be thinking about you and prayers, and hopefully some of these things will help you as we go forward too.
Right. And honestly, we coach couples, and specifically we focus on communication. We help couples improve their communication, their connection, and their affection. That's what we do at Legacy Impact Coaching. And we're fortunate to have people from all walks of life that we work with. And one demographic that we do work with, as we talk about positivity, are couples who decide they're going to walk away from this, or they're co-parenting. So I don't want to paint a picture that everybody we coach has this ideal situation and everything turns out perfectly. That's not the case. We live in a real world. We coach real world people from all types of backgrounds. And so when we talk about this whole relationship and having positivity and improving your communication, it applies to you that are co-parenting as well. So I want you to hang in there. If you're listening, your co-parent situation, this is for you too, because you need the positivity. You need the communication skills that we offer in our communication renovation course to help you co-parent, because even co-parenting can be positive. We hear stories all the time of couples who have applied the information that we've shared with them in our communication renovation to improve their relationship with their ex. And as they raise kids, because you're tied to this child for at least 18 years and more, but really 18 legally, you're tied to this child or these children. It should be good. You should try to have some type of positive interaction and not create a toxic environment, right? And that's what we're going to help you with tonight, just increasing that positivity. And if you work with us, we can help you even in coaching.
And we've also seen it improve with adult relationships. Yes. So we've had married couples that we work with that actually have adult children. They've been married 23, 24 years, and they actually have adult children. And they're applying these skills with their adult children that they had estranged relationships, or when they were growing up or rearing their children, they didn't do things the right way as it relates to communication and just interacting with them and building a healthy environment. And now they're going back and mending those fences and actually implementing these things. And it is creating positivity in there. So that's one big thing that we want people to know when we talk with this. This is generational. That's why you see legacy impact coaching. The things we do are for a legacy. This is for your children, your grandchildren, that the skills that we teach, the things that we work on are for a lifetime. This isn't just for my situation today. This is something that you can reach back to your parents, to children that are grown, and also forward to the children and relationships that you're going to have in the future. So it's a holistic approach to what we're doing, because we want to leave a legacy of healthy homes to our children. And we know that many of you out there want the same exact thing. Right. So
tonight we're talking about how to create more positivity, how to get more positivity in your marriage. And we talked about it early on. It's easy when you're dating, you're newlywed. But what happens 5 years, 7 years down the road? We get what we call this 5 to 7 year itch. And we went through that. We went through a rough patch year 5 or so, and we made it through. Now, more pressure can be created in that relationship because of various dynamics, right? Yes. And it creates pessimistic opportunity situations in your relationship. It's harder to be positive when you're going through that thing, from that 5 to 7 year mark, right?
Yeah. And I mean, just keep it real, because that's what we do here. I mean, in the very beginning of the relationship, and we went to a church and they said, take D word, take divorce out of your vocabulary. That's not something you can use. Right. And we were of that same mindset as well. Like, we're not getting divorced. This is in it to the end. So death do us part. However, I can say in those 5, 7 years, in the time that was so trying for us, and that our marriage was like, okay, I don't even know if this is going to work. Right. Those thoughts did enter your mind when you're at that place where it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like, nothing is changing. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be here. Those are real thoughts, and people don't really want to talk about the realness of having thoughts and feelings. Sometimes they're not truths, but they are feelings and things that we actually go through and process through. So when we tell you this about how to bring positivity when you're in a bad situation, or you're in a situation where you're like, okay, I'm ready to throw in the towel, we've been there ourselves.
Yeah. And it takes everything you got in those moments, because we both went through it at different times. And there were situations and things that happened. Some of it was our fault. Some of it was life. Just happens, right? You talk about, bills, life challenges. I lost my mother a few years into our relationship. It was very difficult. It was difficult on both of us in different ways. And there was a time where I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be a husband. I didn't want to be a father. It just felt like I couldn't even breathe because I just lost my mother. And it was just taxing. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this whole thing and have anything for children or wife, right? But it was tough. It was hard to be optimistic. It was hard to be positive. I was focusing on the negative because a negative thing just happened. So we'll talk about how you navigate even the negative challenges without being negative in your relationship, right? So their life challenges, their children have their demands with children that can choke out some of the positivity in your relationship, right? So you're here tonight to find out how you can have more positivity in your relationship. So we're going to give you some ideas and give you some things to do, practical exercises that you could do, right? So what's the first one? Number 1.
Wake up grateful for what you have, not for what you need, and you don't have, or what you don't have. So basically just being grateful. And, even with this Thanksgiving season that's just ending, those are things that we've even done with our girls. We're like, okay, what are we thankful for? What we're writing it down. What are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? Even for the smallest things, because we can get negative quickly.
Yeah.
And taking the time to stop and say, what am I grateful for?
Right. And we even have a gratitude jar, and we had the girls do it, every so often. We'll write it out on little slips of paper, fold it up, put it in there. And when you're having those moments where you're really just feeling negative, feeling, like, man, I haven't accomplished this, I'm this age and I haven't done X, Y, and Z, or maybe your partner's telling you, well, you should have done this by now, you haven't. Maybe that's a thing. Keeping that positivity and that gratitude jar can help both of you pull something out of what do we have to be thankful for. That can be a momentum builder for you to move forward. And when you pull those out, right? So the gratitude jar is a practical way to wake up grateful.
Yeah. And then the other thing that was really nice with us, we did it this year, is now we have done it so many years. We have put the years on. It was like, oh, well, this was in 2018. You were such and such. And the girls were at this point, they're preteens or like 9 and 10. And it's like, oh, I'm thankful for my Barbies, or I'm thankful for whatever. And, we're laughing and we're talking about the memories. So that's another thing to build positivity and go back to the good times.
Yeah.
Go think about the great times and reminisce on that. We had a tradition, which we need to start back again, but watching our wedding video every year, going through your wedding pictures every year. Those are things that can create positivity because it links you back to the reason why you fell in love with that person and the great times that you had. And that can give you the incentive to do that and look forward to that hope for the future.
Yeah. So there's practical things you can do, because sometimes, let's face it, when you wake up, it's not easy to be grateful, right? I say wake up grateful like it's easy to do. Well, here's some practical exercise that you could use to help create that. And it starts with just being thankful. And something I shared with the girls and Dana over the weekend, I was like, I feel like, God just put this thing on my heart. 5 gifts. Everybody wakes up with 5 gifts. That's right. You, and you, and you, and you, and me, her. We wake up with 5 gifts. If we have our 5 senses, that's a gift from God that we get every day. So if you can't think of anything else in the world to be thankful for, think about what he's giving you in regards to your 5 senses. It's a gift you get every single day that you open your eyes, you put 2 feet on the floor, you have your 5 senses. That's a gift. Those 5 gifts. So you already started out the day, each day with a win. So think about that. Wake up grateful. Let's do some practical things to wake up grateful. And what are some of the things that you do? Maybe you can drop it in the comments. If there's something that you do, if you let us know what you do.
Right. And another thing to bring the positivity in, also just again with this whole thing of the memories, is putting pictures in your home of positive times. There's been so many couples that we coach, and I'm like, okay, well, do you have pictures when you went on vacation? When's the last time you actually took a family picture together? And I would be shocked that it was mind blowing to them that we told them to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm challenging to you. We have pictures from vacations up in our house everywhere. We have those as memories and things that we can look to. Remember when we were in Jamaica and we were scared, or we went kayaking together and I panicked. I was scared. It was funny. But those are memories. Those are things that can bring positivity in your relationship when you're in a dark season in your marriage, in your relationship. You look up at a picture, it can instantly take you back to that time and get you out of that funk.
Yeah. And a lot of times, in this day and age that we live in, our pictures are locked in our phones, or locked on our computers, on our drives, on our computers. Print them out. Find a place to get them printed out. You can go to a local drugstore and get them printed and put them up on the wall.
Yes.
There have literally been times when we talk about that rough patch that we went through, right? There were literally times where I'll be in a house by myself, or maybe with them in there. They may have caught me doing it. I don't know. And I would look at pictures on the wall, and I would just be thankful for those pictures. And I would pray and do all those things. And I would say, you know what? We're going to do that again. We're going to have those smiles. We're going to have those memories again. Even though it's rough right now, I see the picture and the vision of where we're going to be again. And having that picture on the wall helps you do that. So I encourage you. That's a practical way that you could be grateful. What's next? You could, and I just kind of gave it away. You could pray and spend some quiet time, either alone or together in the morning. When you start your day, before everything gets crazy, and if you've got children, you know what I mean when I say this, start early before the house gets noisy, before there's a lot of movement and activity and churn and the rat race. For those that get up and punch that clock and get in traffic, before you do all that stuff, take time to just pray. Take time just to meditate on what's good in your life, on what God has done for you, and you don't really just enjoy the quiet time. When it's warm outside, I like to go outside. There have been times I've gotten in my kayak and gone out and just kind of early before everybody got up and it's all quiet. And I go out there and do the thing. Just really have a sense of peace and think about what you're grateful for and just enjoy that quiet time, right?
Yeah. And I would say another thing too is I learned this in my singleness, but I also applied it to my marriage is, praying together and praying blessings over your partner.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're easy to pray what we need them to stop. Lord, I need you to stop him from doing this. Lord, I need you to help him with his memory. I need you to help him, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, but when you start praying blessings over people, because the Bible says, it's easy to bless people that are nice to you. It's hard to, bless somebody that has hurt you or you have an issue, offended you or said something to you. But when you pray blessings over them, it's hard to continue to be mad at them if your heart is open to the Lord and the things that, he wants to do in your life. And so if you're praying a blessing over your husband before he goes to work, he's praying a blessing over you before you go to work. Trust me, you're going to have a more positive day. There's going to be more positivity in your relationship when you're saying, okay, bless him on his job, give him favor, help him, give him patience, give him endurance, and allow people to be motivating and encouraging and no traffic. I mean, whatever it is, just praying those blessings over your partner will be very, very crucial and help you have more positivity in the relationship.
Yeah, and especially this day and time too, praying over their safety and praying over your children for safety. That's how you can really start getting after the positivity in the relationship, not just the negative stuff. Let's put something good out there and let's start our days off right so that we can set the bar high. Yes. Right. And what's next?
All right. The next thing is sharing highs and lows of the day. As you can see, this is part of what we do in our life. So this is why it's like natural to us. And we're giving you all of these things because what we're telling you to do, we do in our own home. Highs and lows. We have dinner together with our family, and the times you can't, we'll do high, low in the car on the way to a football game or whatever. What's the best part of your day?
Which is the high.
Which is the high, or what made you laugh? What was the best part of your day? And then what was the worst part? What was the lowest point of your day? And really talking about that. And you can use that as a springboard for other conversations to get deeper in connections emotionally with your spouse, also emotionally with your children. When you start asking them questions as well, you can get into their world and be able to be a support system to them.
Yeah, really good stuff. So as we unpack our lives, the highs and the low parts of our days, we're keeping that connection going. We're keeping the connectivity going with one another, she and I, and us with our kids too. And so being able to have both parts and keeps that dialogue, that communication open. And that's what we talk about here, Legacy Impact Coaching, is communication. We believe that is the beginning of every relationship, but it's also the thing that you've got to work on, improve and master in order to have an effective relationship. In order to have an effective and healthy relationship, you got to have effective communication. The communication that started 19 years ago for us was great, but right now we've evolved and we've grown. Some of the same way that we interact is there, but there's some things that I know about her now. There's some ways that we interact and communicate because I know her better now than I knew her from day one. There's certain things I know not to say now that I didn't know back then. And when you do that, you keep that connection and you keep that communication and those lines open with highs and lows and sharing your day. That's what you get. We track with one another over the course of time and seasons. And that's how you keep love hot. That's how you keep the positivity going, because you keep that communication loop open. Every day we're talking, we're engaged, and we're talking about our day, highs and lows, even sometimes when we don't want to talk, right? Some of us, we don't. Sometimes I got to know. That's another thing I learned. When to talk to her. Mornings are not the time. Don't do that. And now I know even her nonverbals, when it's the time not to approach. Maybe she needs that space. But now I know that, and we can still interact. We still keep that loop open, right?
Yep.
All right. So now, so when you go into that conversation, you have the highs and lows. Some of those things that happen throughout the course of a day can be negative. Negativity can creep in because you've had a bad day. But she's very good with reminding you that, listen, flag on the play, bro. Too much negativity can kill you, because I want to share the good and the bad. That's what we do. But we can be excessive. You have to allow enough space for one another to share some of the negative things that happens in life, but you can't let it make you negative and bitter. And there's times in life, I know, I'll admit, it's hard, but having an accountability partner, you got to hold each other accountable for excessive negativity. Hey, bro. Hey, sis, cut it out. Now it's interesting because even our kids would do that for us, because we've done that. Hey, you've been a little too negative. What can we do? Is going beyond that which is normal, right? If it's keeping you from doing what you need to do, that's when you know it's excessive negativity, right? And so really, and that's when, sometimes you need help. You need a counselor. You need somebody to talk to. So really holding each other accountable with what you do with that excessive negativity is important.
Yeah. Because that excessive negativity can really start hampering other parts of your life and other parts of things that you need to get accomplished. So like he said, sometimes you have to go in and get with a therapist or someone else to help you, because it may be a sign of something else deeper.
All right. So drop us some comments. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if this is helping. If this is getting after what you need, is going to help you this week. If you feel like you got opportunities, whether it's at work or at home, that it's going to help you add some more positivity in your life. Drop us some comments. Drop some nines in there if it works for you. If this is something good. All right. What do you got? What's next?
Next one is have fun recreating together as a couple. That's his favorite word. I do not like that word.
I love that word.
So recreating. So basically doing fun things together. And, we even had a conversation this weekend of just talking about date nights. Like, we are not doing a date night that is just going out to eat and come home. Like, what are we doing? We need to do something fun. We need to do something creative. What can we do beyond that? That's just like the default. And I get sick of a default. Like, that's the type of person I am. You got to keep it on and popping. You got to keep me amused in eating. I'm not amused by eating anymore. I've eaten at all different types of restaurants. Let's do something else, right? So being creative, doing fun. My daughters actually just sent me something that I said Devon and I are going to do, and hopefully he'll let me do it.
Breaking news. I don't know what she's about to say.
We're going to video it and show you guys as something fun. But doing stuff fun and creative would be so cool. And there's so many things now that I've seen. You can go make candles. You got the paint and sip things going on. Now I've seen things where you can make a plant, a succulent or plants. You can go to this plant bar and make a plant together. So there's no shortage of things to do together other than going out to dinner. So really making that time and doing that. The date nights are crucial. People think that's like the first thing they check off the list, cross off the list when times are tough or if they feel overwhelmed. The first thing sometimes they cross off is date nights. And I'm like, no. That's not the first thing you cross off. There's a lot of other things that you should cross off, but date night should not be one of them.
Right. And that's what we're talking about. All these things we give you, your tips on how to create more positivity in your relationship, and doing these things that we're talking about is how you do that, how you get after it. And I like using the word recreating, because if you really look at it, it's recreating. How can I recreate my relationship? How can I recreate some good time together as a couple? How can I recreate that good feeling that you had at the very beginning? That's what part of this whole thing is all about. And so I like that word. What is so this looks like a hobby. She talked about the plant. She talked about their paint nights and things that people do. What is your hobby? Maybe she has a hobby. She likes to skate. I don't really like to skate, right? Have I gone with her skating? Yeah. Did I hate it? Yeah. A good chunk of it I did. I hated skating in itself, but I love the experience because it was something that she liked to do. It brought her joy. I could see her gliding and being all smooth with it and doing everything while I'm over on the red carpet doing my thing, whatever.
So now he just videos me, because he didn't used to try to be on the skates. And I'm like, okay, no, I don't need to be worrying about you falling, me having to leave and go to the hospital because of broken arm or whatever.
Too old to fall.
So now he'll sit on the sidelines and maybe he'll just record me, and he enjoys me just being happy.
Right. That's part of recreating, keeping those memories and those positive vibes going. Get out of the rat race. Get out of just coming home from work, getting up, going to work, eating dinner, get up, going to work again. Get out of that. Do something different to recreate. All right. Recreate the situation of the very beginning. Let's see. Somebody says, my wife has seen our marriage more of a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship than an actual marriage, because when things got tough, she wanted out instead of working things out. Tough situation. Definitely. I'm sorry to hear that happened for you there. Let's go through some of the comments, but yeah. And so we'll talk about some of those things. I'm not sure exactly what was going on there, but definitely be praying that things get better for you and you're able to recover from that setback, right? So we talked about recreating as a couple.
Yep. Learning to manage conflict respectfully.
Yes.
So, this is huge. We're like broken records. So if you ever follow us, you know that communication is the biggest thing for us. And out of that communication is the conflict, managing the conflicts respectfully. Right. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. The conflicts just escalate. It can start off calm and just go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And words are spoken, feelings are hurt, people are offended, and at the end of the day, things are not resolved.
Right.
And this can create a lot of negativity, distance, disconnection, bitterness, resentment in your relationship. But when you are able to manage conflict in a proper way, it can bring positivity in your relationship, because when you have that conflict, what enters sometimes is fear. Then you don't want to talk about what's really bothering you. So there's not a place of safety and security. But when you can manage a conflict respectfully and even agree to disagree in a situation, because as you see, we don't say conflict resolution, because there's a lot of conflicts or things that you don't see eye to eye on your partner that is not going to get resolved. But you have to manage it because you're together. You have to learn, how are we going to get through this if this happens again? What are we going to do or not do? So being able to manage a conflict respectfully can bring positivity into your relationship, because it gives you a safe place to be able to share what's really on your heart.
Right. And I really want to make sure we understand that creating more positivity doesn't mean that you avoid conflict.
True, definitely.
All right. So I want to make that distinction and make that 100% clear, because a lot of times we see this thing, people will see this video, see this live. I want you to hear me and hear me well. How to create, getting more positivity in a relationship does not mean you avoid conflict. Right. We help couples learn how to manage and walk through conflict and communicate in a respectful, civil, and tactful manner to improve that, to talk about those things that are tough, those things that are hurtful, those things that you haven't been able to get around. Some of y'all are in that 5 to 7 year itch situation. You got some things that are really hurtful that have happened. You don't know how to deal with it. You're struggling right now because you don't have the skills. One or both of you haven't learned how to share your feelings in a safe place. We can help you with that. We help couples all the time in our communication renovation, and it is a challenging thing to learn. But once you learn it, people often wish, like, man, I wish I'd done this years ago. This is revolutionary. They'll start sharing some of the things that we share with them, not just with their partner, with one another, but they'll go to work and say, I tried this on my coworker and it worked. You can improve your relationships. You can turn even conflict into something positive. And I'm the type of person, I tell people, I love conflict. I like it because I see every time we have conflict that there's an opportunity to get better. There's an opportunity to learn and grow and to understand more of my partner when there's conflict. All right. And we want to help you do the same thing. But learning to manage conflict respectfully is a way that you can keep positivity in your relationship. So learn the skills, drop us a DM and let us know, hey, I want to learn more about how to improve my communication so I can do this and get after this thing. Now, when you're managing, I'll give you a quick little cheat code. When you're talking about conflict, the Gottman Institute, who they have been psychologists for years who have helped married couples specifically, they talk about the 1 to 5 ratio. And so in other words, you probably have heard this at work. For every
one negative thing
or negative feedback or critical feedback you've got to give, you should give 5 compliments or something positive that the person has said or done as well, right? So that's something I want to remind you of too. The next one, compliment. How do you do this positivity thing? Just say it. Just say something positive. Compliment one another often. Compliment one another often.
Yes.
And that may seem corny, it may seem whack, it may seem difficult, whatever you want to use. That sounds like something I can't do that. It sounds like something on Dr. Phil. Well, guess what? Try it. It works. Right. Keep those compliments coming. All right. And here's a quote I want to give you, and it comes from the scientificamerican.com, an article I was reading. It says that thriving couples accentuate the positive in life more than those who stay together unhappily. They are the ones that basically it's saying that's why they stay together. They do more of accentuating the positive in life more than those who stay together unhappily or split. They not only cope well during hardship, but also they celebrate the happy moments and work to build more bright spots into their lives. It kind of goes back to what we just said a little while ago, is that you've got to be intentional about accentuating and focusing on the positive things in life, because I will tell you the human condition is that we automatically, think about it, you don't have to practice negativity. Right. You don't have to practice complaining. You don't have to practice pointing out what you don't have or what your partner doesn't do. You don't have to focus on what your kids don't do right. It's not hard to do that.
Right. Or what you don't like about
your body. What you don't like about your body. It's easy. It's by default. The real work comes in when you're focusing intentionally on the positive. So this week, I want you to make me a promise. Make me a promise that you'll focus on the positive in your partner, the positive in your kids, and the partner in somebody at work. So it's 3 people. I want you to say something positive and compliment with your mouth, not just in your mind. I thought about it. Now I want you to say something positive to your partner a couple times, 2 times this week. That's your homework. 2 times this week to your partner, to if you have kids, your kids, and somebody at work. Okay.
That's nice. And also another positive thing I would say, if you haven't received it, we have marriage affirmations that we can email you. So if you haven't received those, you can click the link in our bio. There's a thing of positive affirmations, and we send you one. I think it's once a week, and there's like 5, and you just talk, speak those 5 things over your marriage and your relationship, and that as well will bring positivity. This is one thing that's just laying here. I haven't given it to my girls yet, but this is what we're giving them as far as positivity, because they're girls, they're into this body image and just different things like this. We got people on Facebook, YouTube. So this is something positive to you. And it says a little hug just to say that you are amazing and strong and brave and wonderful and so loved. You got this. So they can take this little piece of this little heart and put it in their book bag or wherever they want to hang it on their keychain. And this is just a reminder for them of just staying positive about who they are as individuals.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that for a moment too, because our girls grew up with this. I'm not going to say we're perfect parents by any stretch of the imagination, but we, I have seen and heard them even challenging their friends to be more positive and to point out some of the right things in life, some of the things that are good. Over the years, I've been blessed to hear them share that. So just know that when you are intentional about being positive, it spreads. People are drawn to you. People want to be around positivity. If you ever walk into a place and like, the vibe is just off, and maybe you have that negative coworker who always finds a negative thing to talk about. How do you feel? How do you feel being around that negative coworker who's always got something to say? They're always the devil's advocate. You get the meeting done, you're almost done, and they go, wait a minute, I got something. I don't think this. And they, at the last minute, it blows up the meeting. How many of y'all can relate to that? I see the hearts. I see the hands. I see the thumbs up. Yes, you know those folks. So now I want to ask you a question. Are you that person for your partner? Tough question, right? Are you that person for your partner? So I want you, this is why we're talking about this. This is why we want to have that paradigm shift this week. Let's shift our minds towards more positive. And if you got to even examine yourself, look at media. If it's the 6 o'clock news is done a number on people. I've seen it in my family. I've seen people, extended family, who just stay watching the news and are always focused on the negative. They're always scared, always afraid. I want you to do another piece of homework. Turn the news off for a week. See what happens. See if your mood doesn't elevate. See if your mind doesn't change. And do some of these things we share, but turn the news off. Cut off every source of media that's negative. Gossipy, negative, whatever. Just turn it off for a week and see what happens.
Right. And that's one of the next ones, is just removing distractions. What is distracting you? What is detracting you from having positivity in your marriage? We know cell phones, that's a distraction. It is. And they are good, but they can also be a distraction. So what can we do in that aspect? What are the time frames that we can say, okay, we're going to set this phone aside and we're going to do one of these things that we said, whether it's pray together, because it could be morning or in the evening. Some of these things can be done anytime that you have the space and the time in your relationship to get them done. But really removing some of the distractions is also a way to bring positivity into your relationships.
Yeah, especially even on like date nights or family nights, we go out to get dinner together as a family. The rule is, for the most part, there are exceptions that are made, but generally speaking, phones go away. We're focusing it, and I'm challenging my family to look at the whites of one another's eyes. I want to see your eyes. I want to see into the window of your soul, not the window in my pocket device, my mobile device. I want to look into the windows of your soul. And if you keep that as a regular rhythm, I mean, come on, one night a week, we can't put our phones down for a couple hours just to be present and engage with one another. Let's really check that. If that's hard for us, we really need to check that, right? Because we don't want to lose one another in the process of life. Right?
All right, so we've given you a lot.
I
mean, we've dropped a lot of options and a lot of things for you guys to work on. Devon is giving you homework. We're teachers at heart, so this is part of it. We love to teach and really get this in, but I want you as well to set a goal for your marriage each day. What are you going to do? Because some of you are in relationships, we know your partner has checked out or they're not into anything. They are set in their ways. They're like, I ain't doing that. I'm not going to counseling. I'm not doing this. I'm not going on date nights. But what are you going to do? Because your marriage is not just going to change through prayer. A marriage can't be improved without the people in it being improved. And that is not just one-sided. We all have a part to play in this relationship. So if you're able to make a goal for yourself, what is that going to bring? If you're bringing positivity into the relationship, eventually it's going to change. That person has got to change.
Yeah. Even if your partner is being negative, what's stopping you is what you're saying.
Yes.
Even if your partner is being negative, what's stopping you from saying something positive? Yes. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of hard work. But
dying to pride, biting that tongue.
Excuse me.
I mean, all of these things are a requirement, but that's part of what marriage does. It refines you and defines you and helps you grow in your own self in areas. Yeah. Hey, not easily broken.
Hey, family. Yeah, so it's another one. You talked about the romantic retreat. Treat your bedroom like a romantic retreat. You know, put those pictures up, those fun vacation pictures. That's what we do. I'm giving you a sneak shot into our bedroom. I keep, pictures of us on vacation, kind of a tropical feel, because that's our happy place. That's where we've been to several islands, and so we love the islands. That makes us feel good, and that's our theme. And for years, in our tropical romantic retreat, called our bedroom, we didn't have a TV for years. And we have one now. Yeah. But for years, we first got married. Those first few years, we didn't have a TV. Our marriage counselor at the time said, don't have a TV. He encourages couples to do that. And we did it for
first few years. We didn't even get a TV till we moved here. That was in 2013.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, right. I mean.
So we would go to the other rooms to watch TV, but.
When it was time we were in the bedroom, it was a focus on us. We also did no arguments in the bed or on the bed. Because if this is your romantic retreat, we don't want that vibe in the bedroom.
Right.
We don't want that negativity in the room. And I know a lot of you guys are like, well, we don't like to argue in front of the kids. So where will we go if we can't go into our bedrooms?
Get in the car and drive around the block. Argue in the car.
Argue in the car, in the garage, close the door. Yeah. But again, the other thing is too, you should be having your conflicts in front of your kids. So that's what we teach people. Teach people. Yeah. You should be able to have a conflict in front of your children and not have to go to the bedroom, because they need to see that adults are not going to agree. And guess what? We still love each other. We can get through it. Yeah. And this is how it works. Because a lot of times couples that we coach, oh, I never saw my parents argue. But now you don't know how to handle an argument. Right. You retreat, or the first sign that you see of an argument, you're like, oh, well, this relationship's not going to work because my parents never argued. So when we're arguing, so I must have picked the wrong person. No.
Yeah.
You didn't see the way to handle conflict. So your bedroom should not be the place that you go and you start going to war with the partner that's supposed to be on the same team as you.
Now, I will give a little bit of a caveat with that, because if you haven't learned the skills to properly engage in conflict and disagreements,
which means no yelling, no calling people out their names, no throwing things. If you can't do that, then y'all need to figure something out. Y'all need to contact us. If you can't have a conflict or disagreement without raising voices, without calling people out their name and all of that, slamming doors and stuff like that. Right. Yeah, don't have that in front of your kids, because you're teaching them the wrong way. So you're teaching them bad habits.
Yeah, right. Once you learn you learn how to disagree respectfully, like we talked about, have that conflict in a respectful manner, then you can begin to show them the skills. And like we said, some of the folks that we coach, they learn through our communication renovation, and they then share with their coworkers, they share with their kids, and they're able to have those conversations then in a healthy fashion in front of the children. And what does that do? That's creating a mentorship. That's creating healthy dynamics and showing them how to manage the conflict even when they go to school now, and see how that just kind of works. When you have respect and have positivity, even in the conflict, the right way, then it becomes a thing that can change the world, can change your paradigm everywhere you set your foot.
Yeah.
Right.
All righty. Well, if any of you guys, I think that's it. I think we covered them all.
Yeah. We talked about treat your partner better.
Oh, yeah. The last one.
Treat your partner better than you treat the people at work. I'm going to say that one more time. Treat your partner better than you treat the people at work. And we're all are guilty of it. If you're honest with a man or woman looking at you in the mirror, we all have done that at certain times. 19 years, unfortunately, I have done that, where I have, been more respectful to people at work than I have my partner. And I had to repent. I had to ask for my wife's forgiveness. And, not in a belligerent, bad way, but it's
Right.
something I wasn't aware of. You know, sometimes just simple things like saying good morning, saying thank you. How many times do we forget to say thank you? We'll say thank you to somebody at work that brings us our printout off the copier, but we forget to say thank you to our partner who maybe fixed us a meal or got something out of the dryer for us. I'm just naming something. Don't forget the little things, the little ways to spread positivity just by 2 words of saying thank you, or I love you, or I'm glad you did that thing, you know?
Yeah. Or, I mean, the biggest thing is holding your tongue. I mean, you hold your tongue a lot at work. If you were like me in the environment that I used to work in when I was working in corporate America, I didn't say a lot at work, but I can come home and just say a million things that I probably shouldn't have said. I should have been able to hold my tongue and be a little bit more hold restraint.
Yeah.
So that is also a challenge. Challenge yourself. If that's one of your goals, that could be one of your goals for the day. Okay, I'm going to treat my spouse better than I treat my person at work.
That's right. All right. So this is Devon and Dana, artists with Legacy Impact Coaching, and we want to thank you for hanging out with us for these last several minutes. We were talking about spreading positivity. So we want you to spread the positivity of this message, this video. We want you to share it. Send it out there to somebody that you know needs it. Maybe there's somebody that's negative in your family, or maybe a negative coworker. Send it to them. Let them know they need to check this out. And we want to just spread this thing, and we want you to have a great, enjoyable week. You're blessed. Again, every day with 5 gifts, you've got 5 gifts, and those are your 5 senses. If God gives you breath and gives you the ability to stand up and move, you are already starting out good. So tomorrow morning, you guys are going to have 5 gifts. Those that wake up tomorrow morning are going to have 5 gifts. I want you to enjoy, do something positive with those gifts, and make a difference in this world. Make that impact. We're Legacy Impact. We want you to impact your legacy in a positive manner. Take care and let us know how we can help you. Drop us a DM, leave us a comment, and we will love to connect with you and see how we can partner with you on your journey. All right. Have a good night.